Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
Hello, today I'm joined by Ben Crawford, who is CEO at CentralNic. How are you today, Ben?
Excellent, Zach. Great talking to you.
Big announcement from you. You've got a new addition to the CentralNic family.
That's right. We've acquired a Munich-based company called Team Internet. CentralNic, now since we listed 6 years ago, has been rolling up businesses in the domain name industry, and this is really one of the gems in our industry. So we're absolutely delighted to have brought it into the group.
Right, and I've seen quite a few of your presentations and interviews. You're growing within quite a competitive space. There's obviously the big players there. How does this get you along the road of competing with the big boys and girls in your sector?
No, you're absolutely correct. So when we look at the biggest companies in our sector, on NASDAQ we have VeriSign, the company that runs .com and .net, and also GoDaddy, the largest retailer of domain names.
Right, and how will this deal place you going forward?
Getting back to GoDaddy and VeriSign, they're both valued at 20 plus times EBITDA or EBITDA ratio. So obviously, when it comes to large scale, businesses in our industry are valued extremely highly because we're recurring revenue businesses. We have already really world-class software platforms that we've developed and acquired. So now for us, the real challenge is to rapidly get to the scale where the value really comes through for shareholders.
And I mean, part of that clearly, I mean, you're getting you're literally acquiring a new team from Team Internet as well. Will that help you?
Absolutely.
Will that help you get that scale that you're looking for?
It absolutely will. So Team Internet does something quite specific. They for domain name investors, so people that buy a lot of domain names, hoping to flip them for higher prices to new business startups that want to use those specific domains. They have a fixed cost base, which is every year they have to pay the subscription cost to retain those domain names. And what Team Internet does is help offset those costs and indeed even allow them to make a profit from their trading inventory by placing advertisements for relevant advertisers onto those domain names. And so it's an extremely valuable piece of the supply chain for those for domain investors. We estimate around 100 million domain names are in the hands of domain investors out of the 350 million in total. Team Internet currently, its customers represent 20 million, so it's got 35,000 customers representing 20 million domain names. So it's another great recurring revenue business that money flows through it on a monthly basis, and but there's plenty of opportunity for growth. Our other businesses also touch around 20 million domain names as well, and the crossover is pretty small. So just to start with, cross-selling between the businesses could hopefully bring some additional scale to us. And then obviously we have a global sales force. We have salespeople in China, in the Middle East, Australasia, Latin America and so on. They don't. So again, that's going to mean that we can bring their services to the whole world, whereas at the moment the customer base is very largely US and Western Europe.
So there's nothing stopping you stealing the lunch of VeriSign or GoDaddy going forward. It's not that they've got some kind of a block in the whole system because they're from America.
Well, I think realistically, and this is actually one of the great things about our industry, and one of the reasons a roll-up strategy in our industry makes so much sense, is that customers in our industry are very, very sticky. So we realistically do not imagine we will take VeriSign's customers off them, nor GoDaddy's. That's really not the way that the businesses work in our industry, basically because switching costs tend to be higher than holding costs in our business. But there are many hundreds of other small businesses. So outside of the big boys, it's a very fragmented industry. And what we've seen is if we pick up the absolute gems, the best companies around the world, and pull them together, that would allow us to create a rest of the world company that could potentially be the kind of scale that the big US companies and the big European companies have achieved. So that's our game plan.
Right. I mean, you mentioned that the revenues being generated, and obviously there'll be synergies and other benefits from this deal as well. What you haven't mentioned, and I don't think you have in the past either, is that tech companies, I mean, they're not rated so much on the revenues or profits. Actually, they're rated very often on strategic value. And so, hence, Skype will be taken over, or WhatsApp or Instagram will be taken over, just because it fits into the strategy, or it's actually, let's say, it's a competitor to an existing player. Is there any estimate of what your strategic value would be to VeriSign or GoDaddy or potential, another party?
Well, look, those things are very hard to estimate, but you're absolutely right that companies in our industry at the moment are being very highly valued because not only are we growing tech companies, but we're also highly profitable, high-margin, recurring revenue businesses. So we're really ticking the boxes for two entirely different groups of investor philosophies there. And certainly there's been a lot of private equity activity in our space over the last year. I'd say that there must be a dozen companies that have either been taken private from the public markets or moved from founders to PE funds. And they're planning to do, I think, some what we're doing of building larger companies. I think inevitably in our industry we'll end up with a small number of large global multi-platform companies, and obviously that our plan is to be among them, either by growing that size ourselves, or at some point by someone may take us over. No discussions at this point, obviously, but the faster you grow and the bigger you grow, the more the people start to take notice.
Right. Finally, for the near term, presumably you'll be digesting your team internet deal. Anything else?
Indeed.
For 2020?
Well, look, we have a dedicated acquisitions team, a dedicated integration team, with our idea to try not to disrupt the business as usual with the acquisition process. So we're always looking at deals, and if the right ones come along, of course we look at them very seriously. As you say, we've got nothing to declare at the moment.
Okay. Ben Crawford, CEO at CentralNic, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Zach. Great talking to you.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.